welcome to the Banks and Black channel. Now, you may be wondering why it's just me just now. Basically, I've been a wee bit silly. I forgot to record the first 15 seconds of our interview with Peter Hartley from 12 Yards Out. So, you're going to join in just halfway through a sentence of Peter's. So, we're just talking about the coronavirus lockdown and how that's affected him. And now having a chat about his time at Mull, now that he's departed for Park after 3 successful years in Lanarkshire. Hope you enjoy the video. Stay safe.
Yeah, well, obviously the groundsman of that have been impeccable. We haven't had many games called off, especially with my time being at Motherwell, but when it's a global pandemic, what can you do? It just gradually got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And then, we just kept getting messages from the gaffer and Keith Lasley, just basically delaying reporting to training and giving us training programs. And then they weren't allowed to give us training programs no more because everyone had been furloughed. So we had to sort of use our own initiative and do what we thought was best, follow programs that we'd already had. But like you said, it's crazy how you can flip a switch from Thursday game going ahead, then on Friday I go home expecting to have a weekend off and no on the 3rd of June.
But I will have a wee discussion on 12 Yards Out today, just about also your time at Mull and everyone that went with that. What was the circumstances? Because see, when you initially joined Mull, was it not, there was a bit of to and froing. Mull, I think, approached you early in the summer before you went to Blackpool, and then going back a couple of years before that, when I was at Plymouth, my first season at Plymouth, we had a very good season, got into the playoffs of League Two and got knocked out in the semi-final by a very good Wycombe team. But in that summer, I had contact with Motherwell through my agent, and unfortunately, I had a year left on my contract at Plymouth, so it was planted a seed in my mind because I've always been fond of Scottish football. From my opinion, it's real football. I've watched games on TV for years. A lot of my friends are Celtic fans and obviously follow Scottish football massively, even though we're based in England. So, that planted the seed, and then obviously moved on to Bristol Rovers. Had a good, successful season there, what got cut short from a foot injury. My missus fell pregnant. I moved closer to home, which was Blackpool, but that was basically the reason. If I'm totally honest, Blackpool was I could commute from home, so live at home, help bring a little man up. And then obviously didn't quite work out at Blackpool with Gary Bowyer. They'd come off the back of a successful League Two playoff run and got promoted. Stuck with these same players, rightly so. Tried to fight for my place. I was getting on the bench and not even getting named in the squad for reasons that have been known to me. I train every day, I give it 110%. So got to a stage very early on in the season because I'd been injured for the back end of the season before. I was chomping at the bit and didn't really want to sit a season out. So I made contact with Stephen Robinson through Carl McHugh and asked if there would be an opportunity to come to Motherwell, which was out of Blackpool or Motherwell the previous summer. And the reason I did choose Blackpool was geography. It was that hour closer to home. Gaffer was great. Straight away, got in touch with the club. I spoke to Gary Bowyer. Gary Bowyer spoke to whoever he spoke to at Motherwell. And then within, I think we had a week before deadline day, I signed on a 6-month loan. Things moved pretty quickly then, I suppose, eh? I mean, could you have foreseen when you obviously signed for Blackpool and then by the end of the transfer window you've moved like twice?
Yeah, I think that's from my own doing because, like I said, I'd been injured the second half of the season at Bristol Rovers with a foot injury, and I know how hard I'd worked to get back to a better level than what I was capable of. I had a really good start of the season at Bristol Rovers. I think I scored 7 or 8 goals in 20-odd games. So I was flying. So I knew that I couldn't let that injury knock me back. And when Gary Bowyer didn't give me the opportunity, I think it was about 5 or 6 games into the season, I could sort of see where things were going, and I needed to put a stop to it because I needed to play football. I've been injured for too long. First injury I've had in my professional career. That's kept me out for that length of time. I think it was 4 or 5 months. So I couldn't sit on the bench. I wasn't patient enough. I knew I had a lot to offer, and he wasn't willing to give me the chance, which Stephen Robinson was.
Yeah, I think obviously I think Mull
they're building a reputation for that. Did you know that obviously they've took in like guys in your time now, like Cedric Kieprine, Louis Moult, people like that coming from who perhaps a bit rough rub of the green, sort of taking you into the club and sort of letting you their ethos and sort of helping you build your career back up a bit?
Yeah, well, I knew exactly what the club was. I played at Plymouth with Carl McEwen, kept in contact with him weekly since. So as soon as he signed for Motherwell, spoke to him a lot. Spoke to him in the summer, nearly signed, and then spoke to him again when there was a potential of me coming on loan, which eventually got confirmed. So I knew exactly what the dressing room was. I knew the way the club worked. It still does work that way. Players like Sharon Seedorf, just getting the foot in the door. Liam Polworth, fantastic player, 100% deserves to be at this level, if not a higher level in England. Players that have just not had the rub of the green, like you're saying. Maybe he's got relegated or can't get into teams here and there. Motherwell give them the opportunity if it's the right character.
Do you think that's something that kind of helped you make a decision to move to Motherwell, kind of having spoken regularly about kind of the football, and I'm sure you'll have spoken about the manager a fair bit too, so kind of having that really good idea as to what you were letting yourself in for?
Yeah, I'd never spoke to the manager until the day I signed on loan, and having that 20-minute conversation with him, just waiting for paperwork to go through in his office, blew me away. Doesn't shut up, to be fair to him, but he speaks a lot. Pardon me, he speaks a lot of sense.
Okay, I don't know what your first impressions were, because I think I first interviewed him when I was about 16 in his office. He's just sitting there, and obviously as a young journalist you're thinking, how is this going to go interviewing a Premiership manager? And he just, I mean, nice guy, but I think he's quite intense. Like, he can have that look about him with the eyes, I think. And he talks and talks and talks for all the live long day, which is great for us. But how were your first impressions of him?
Very intense, like you've just said, but knew the game inside out. He's striving for a higher level himself, and if you have a manager that's learning every day and doesn't just want to stand still and get overtaken, and then get the label of a dinosaur, so to speak. Stephen Robinson's the furthest away from that. He's literally working longer hours than anybody. He's constantly thinking about football. And I just seen from a short conversation to then getting my foot in the door 2 or 3 weeks down the line, having trained with the boys, the type of training, standard of training, thought processing training, structure, ticked every box for me. And I knew very, very quickly that it felt like home quickly, but I knew from the football side of things, it was somewhere I wanted to be. I hit the ground running when he gave me my chance in the team, and again, got cut short by injury in that January.
What it was quite obviously ill-timed injury. You obviously had the piano video. You went and smashed up the piano, and then it just sort of, because obviously we had the cup run you had in the sort of November. Obviously, the highs of getting to that final, even though it perhaps didn't go the way you wanted to go, to then sort of missing out, and then somebody went to the Scottish Cup final. Must have been obviously a bit gutting, because it was such a great season for the club.
It was a great, fantastic season. Initially, when I'd first signed it, I thought, how was this going to work? I seen the overturn of players in the summer. Players going, players coming. Understood that the team stayed up by the skin of their teeth the season before from getting relegated. And you just think, is this going to be one of them seasons, a transition period season? But having been there 3 years, looking back, that's what Stephen Robinson does. He's unbelievable at getting the best out of players, regardless of age, regardless of reputation. There's no such thing as a bad egg to him, because he's seen it all. He's played at levels, Luton and Northern Ireland and Bournemouth, and he's seen everything inside out. There's nothing a guy's probably not done himself as a footballer. So his experience and knowing how to manage players is top notch. Going back to the season, very disappointing from a personal point of view. Obviously rode the crest of a wave getting into the final. And then signing permanently, just coming back from it was a minute foot injury initially. I had an injection in it, then we went on winter break to Tenerife. Stayed off the running. Just went to the gym, work with a physio. Gaffer obviously took me along. Didn't want to leave me at home in sunny Scotland in January.
I can imagine.
Yeah, then felt great. You know, I needed to leave it. I think it was 3 weeks, 21 days from the injection. Done a week and a half of training, signed the contract. Day before Partick Thistle away, down to start Friday, 5v5s, young v old. Went to push off to close someone down, and I just felt like a pop in a balloon in my foot. I ruptured my plantar plate, so back to square one. 2 Januaries and 2 seasons. I'd basically finished my season off. Bristol Rovers the season before, then had a great start of the season, got injured in January. Then, you know, it happened again at Motherwell, and mentally it's tough, but made me stronger.
That sort of happened to Craig Tanner as well, didn't it? He sort of had a crazy sort of like training injury, went over on like his knee or something, and he was out for 2 and a bit years, I think.
He went over on his standing knee and dislocated his kneecap, torn his meniscus. Tanner's was a nasty. Credit to Craig Tanner, he's a fantastic lad again, played with him at Plymouth, but to have the mentality someone has to be out of the game for 2.5 years and then keep persevering to get back on the ladder. I don't think it mattered where Craig went after Motherwell. I still believe he'll get back in the Football League because talents like him, fully fit, if he can get back to that level, they're hard to find.
Yeah.
How did you find the football once you came up here? I know you'd said that kind of Scottish football was real football. So how did you cope with the transition from kind of Football League up to the rough and tumble of the Scottish Premiership?
Football, this is the best way I can describe it. I mean, I've been up here 3 years now, so things might have changed in England, but having experienced 7 or 8 years in England in a row, 46 games a season, the best way I can describe it is, in England, you will play against teams and you will go 2-0 up and the game is over. The team that scores the first goal or goes 2-0 up is basically done and dusted. Doesn't matter where you're at, in my opinion. You get the occasional, you might be playing top of the league, go 2-0 up and there's a chance. But see, in Scotland, you could be 3-0 up, you could be 4-0 up. The chances after teams do not give up, and the tempo is another level. Because you don't play as many games in Scotland and you do a lot more training in between games, you have a lot more time to prepare for games. Going into games in England, you're playing Saturday, Tuesday. So sometimes all you do is set pieces. You don't even know the player you're playing against, especially in League One, League Two. It's generally off the cuff. I don't know whether this is just under Stephen Robinson because he's the only manager I've played under in Scotland, but from that Monday to Friday is a build-up of analysis before the game on a Saturday, and you literally know all the team's strengths. Doesn't say, I don't know, any team in the SPL, say we're playing St Johnstone Saturday, Monday to Friday, all the team's strengths, all the weaknesses, from personal point of view, centre-half, their strikers' strengths, weaknesses, what foot to kick with, the mentality of the team. If we do go 1-0 up, what to do? Will they come out, bounce back, or will they sit back and wait and try and grab a draw? I think everything leaves no stone unturned. In England, not through the poor standard of managers, I'd say the lack of time, you can't do that. So in Scotland, it's a lot more professional. You get a lot more time to prepare.
With Stephen Robinson's tactics, I think it was sort of went the 3-5-2 initially. You had Louis Moult and Bowman up front, and then I think when Moult left, that sort of Bowman for me played his best football at Mull when he was lobbing on to Moult and you were pressing everywhere. When you lost Moult, it was a bit harder to do that because he was putting them all in the net. It seemed there was a transition. Obviously, he went from 3 at the back to 4. They sort of went with the 3 attackers in the latter bit of last season, like Hasty, Aribe, and it was like Main and stuff through the middle. What was sort of the key to that sort of clicking? Because that seemed to really boost the last part of last season.
Well, I think 3-5-2 worked. It was effective, but the gaffer knew what type of players he had at the time.
Hammer throwers and all that.
Say that again.
Hammer throwers and all that, as some say.
That's what I'm saying. You can only work with the tools you've got, and the gaffer had signed players off the previous season before that can fight for their life on a pitch. And we had a team of predators, a team of hunters that went out and give every single thing every week. And our motto as a team was, if we win, lose, or draw, we make sure that the team knows that they've been in a game physically. We played some really good stuff, but we didn't take risks at the back. We didn't play the ball out from the back. It was a slow build. Now, if you look at the players we lost from, I'd say probably the cup final in that November against Celtic to the following, so say 14-month onwards to the following January, we'd lost Cedric, we'd lost Ryan Bowman, we'd lost Andy Rose. There's a lot of physicality there. So the gaffers, Davy Turnbull was maybe that 14-month off actually breaking into the first team, still inconsistent in training. Fantastic, unbelievable talent, but the standard in training was, and the gaffer won't accept that. You know, your standard's got to be here every single day. So then when Davy clicked, Hasty come back from a successful loan, it was time to change. The heightened physicality through the span of that team, we'd lost. Curtis Main, physical, but we went with a 1, so because we knew we had pace on the wings. With Hasty coming back, we knew we had creativity with Davy. So we sacrificed a striker for a creative midfielder, which worked in abundance because Davy Turnbull, I think, might have got 16 goals that season. You know,
it was crazy.
It's like having an extra striker on the pitch. So yeah, you can only work with the tools you've got, and I think the gaffer used that quite well to our advantage as a team. And we built quite a reputation in that two cup final run of being a physical team that beats teams up. But we played some lovely football.
You get Livingston, I think I've got that tag now. I mean, you've always, Livingston, I've gave Mull a couple of good games this season. And even though they're physical, they do have players in there that can sort of play on the day. Like I know Mallow had players like Bigaramana and things like that. A lot of really good players, whilst you had the physical elements, you could play at Park. I think like the 3-0 game against Aberdeen in the quarter-final of the League Cup on that run to the final probably displayed that most.
Yeah, definitely. Livingston are like we were 2 years ago, but whether they can find that balance of moving on or they're gonna stay as they are because it's successful, it's working for them. But they've kept quite a core team of players together. Where we had a transition period where, because we got into 2 cup finals, we lost a lot of our best players, and that went with a lot of height and also went with a lot of physicality. So I always thought from coming in the door that the gaffer wanted to play football. It was just a matter of time before that change happened, and it couldn't have happened at a better time. Our backs against a wall. We didn't have a good 6-month start of the season. I think we were in the bottom 6, maybe second bottom, third bottom. Came back in the winter break, and it's just basically like ripping a piece of paper up and saying, right, went to Tenerife, boxed it off, played no games out there, and we just trained twice a day like dogs. And he drilled a new method into us, a new way of playing, and give us triggers.
I mean, that kind of 6-month spell saw David Turnbull and Jake Hasty both kind of burst into prominence. Jake won his move to Rangers, and David kind of should have been going to Celtic. And just how far do you think those two can go?
Haven't seen them both day in, day out. Mentality's, in my opinion, 90% in football is mental. 10% is natural ability and talent, and the mentality of them two players is phenomenal. Davy Turnbull, quiet as a mouse, comes in training, best player every day in training. Dressing room before games, so relaxed, legs crossed, reading the programme, doesn't say a word. Jake Hasty wanted to learn, asking questions all the time, taking a bag of balls out after training, coming in on days off with a bag of balls, going on the 4G behind the stadium, practicing his free kick, shooting. Little things like this, when I've been in, I've seen them do this. It's no coincidence that these boys have hit the ground running in the first team and got good moves so early to put themselves on another pedestal. Now, the big question is, when they do get the chances, if Davy does go to Celtic or stay at Motherwell this season, if Hasty does stay at Rangers or go back on loan, they've got to take them, because they're both still young boys and they're going to make mistakes. So they've got to understand that, you know, you can't get too high in football when things are going well, and you can't get too low when they're not.
I think the person, obviously, with that sort of back end of last season, you sort of had the 4 academy ones. You had Cadden, who's now obviously in America, Jake, David, but I think perhaps for me, at least one of the most underrated players in the league is Alan Campbell.
Alan Campbell.
He's phenomenal. We always get told I think Steve Johnson told us he basically had to take rest because he sort of ran like 12k over 3 games in a week. Things like that.
But he covered 37 kilometres in the Saturday wins, the Saturday game. All 3 games.
It's I think, see, because he's an old-fashioned midfielder, perhaps he's not. I think he is quite good technically, but that's not obviously his strength. His strength is just running about like a headless chicken in the middle of the park and just
I disagree with you. I completely disagree with you. Alan Campbell's one of the most technically gifted footballers at our football club.
See, for me, I don't see for me sitting in the stand. Perhaps you appreciate it more, right? Because you're out in the park. But for me, the thing I see with him is just him chasing down everything. Now, obviously, I think he has added some goals to his game. He's chipped in here and there. But for me, it's his work rate that just sells him. It's unbelievable.
It's the Darren Fletcher at Man United thing.
Aye.
He does the kind of the unseen dirty work it's not the flashy stuff, but it's the important stuff.
He's a type of player that every teammate appreciates on the pitch. For the first season, I think it went unseen. But first season and a half, I think it went unseen. But, you know, since the Gaffer changed formation, went with 3 in midfield, you can see now Alan Campbell doesn't have to cover as much ground, albeit he's still covering a lot. He's getting a lot of the ball. He's getting more involved in action. He's learning every day. He's understanding what position to take up in and out of possession. He's also, like you've just said, becoming a third man runner in the box. You know, he's adding goals to his game. I genuinely think it's a matter of time before Alan Campbell goes to the top level, whether it's in Scotland or England. I would back him to the hilt. He would be the first name on my team sheet if I was a manager. And having worked with him every single day for 3 years, there's no one at that football club that works harder than him. He's in the gym at 7:30 every morning. Every single morning.
I think it's good as well. He's been obviously nominated for the Writers' Player of the Year as well as Stephen Robinson, and I think now people are slowly starting to realise like how good he can be, because Scotland, I think, is blessed with a lot of good young midfielders, but Alan Campbell's name, perhaps because he is at Malone, he just isn't getting as noticed as much because he's not scoring like David Turnbull 20 goals a season, things like that.
Yeah, you can only get ignored for so long though. Like when you look at the job description of Alan Campbell, what would you say his job is on the pitch?
I would say box-to-box presser. I personally, as I've said, I don't see his technical side as much. Perhaps I'll need to watch him a bit more. But for box-to-box presser, and it allows David Turnbull and the guys on the wings to do their job a bit more effectively, is what I'd say his job description is.
Yeah, Alan Campbell triggers our vertical press out of possession, and he is basically the cog in the wheel of Motherwell. Out of possession because of the positions he can take up on the pitch. But the biggest surprise for me, having sat the last 6 months of the season before last on the bench, is how good he is on the ball. Very, very rarely will you see Alan Campbell give the ball away. Never ever makes mistakes on the ball. Tries to always play forward.
Yeah, he got a dead low centre of gravity as well. So see when he's shielding it. Well, obviously, I think from standing next to me, he's probably about the same height as me, about 5'9". But he never he's shielding of the ball, despite the fact I think there's a photo from the cup final. It's like Christoph Ayer is hanging over him, and he's totally shielding the ball away from him. Ayer's 6'5", he's a giant. Alan Campbell's almost a foot smaller and still completely holding him off.
Strong as an ox. I've never seen anyone as strong as him. His legs are like tree trunks. And I don't know if you remember, but John McGinn, when he was at Hibs, he was amazing at backing into players and spinning them. Didn't need skill to take anyone on. Alan Campbell's not going to do a step over. He's not going to cry for anyone. He's unbelievable at using his body to get past players. And obviously, you've got to be physically strong and spend a lot of hours in the gym to be able to do that. And he's definitely got a dedication. I honestly do genuinely believe he is going all the way at the top. I think he'll captain Scotland one day. That's how highly I think.
I think, could you imagine Scotland's midfield? You could have Billy Gilmore, Alan Campbell, David Turnbull.
And then your man, what's your man called up front for Sheffield United? Ollie McBurney. He's a couple of years away from being a serious striker.
What's your thought? Do you like him, James?
I'm torn on him. He's one that kind of frustrates me a bit, but when he's good, he's brilliant. It's getting that out of him consistently, but he's, as you say, that kind of core of the future Scotland squad could be incredible.
He gets lambasted, McBurney, because he's not a big head-the-ball striker, I think. See, because he's 6'2", he's not a head-the-ball striker. He likes it in his feet. Like if you see him playing for Sheffield United, perhaps doesn't score a lot of goals, but it's always played into his feet, and he's always playing it out wide, with Flex playing off him as well. And he just, because he's not cross it in the box, 6'3", head the ball, doesn't get the credit he deserves.
Nah, you're right. Sometimes your height can go against you. I remember when I was at Hartlepool, a young kid, 21, 22, and we signed a striker. You will know him, Colin Nish from Scotland.
Yeah.
Exactly the same. He come to Hartlepool and he was 6'2", 3. We're thinking this guy's going to be ragdolling centre halves, flicking balls on. Didn't want the ball in the air, wanted it with his chest and his feet. And Nishi was technically very good, but just didn't want to head the ball.
Aye. There's a lot of that in Scotland. I think there's stereotypes in Scottish football positions, aren't there? Like, your midfielders are box to boxers, your wingers just stay forward and are fast, strikers are head the balls, and then centre backs are Stephen Craigens who just kick it 70 yards forward. I think at Mull specifically, Stephen Robinson definitely tried to change that. He wanted everybody passing it at the back, for better or for worse at sometimes, for fans, I think, because I think there were a few sticky situations where players were just closing in, but never seemed to panic. Perhaps it didn't always go to plan, but there always seemed to be a plan in place.
You go on the pitch and you know exactly what your options are on the ball. And then it takes 10, 15 minutes, and then you've got to figure out how their strike is a centre-half's point of view. This is me speaking from the education I've been given off Keith Lasley, Stephen Robinson, Maurice Ross, with the structure of play. You get it, you know exactly what your options are on the ball, but then within 10 minutes, you've got to figure out how the strike is pressing you and which of our midfielders are free, because the way we play, or I played when I was at Motherwell, the ball doesn't go from back to front because then you're not controlling the game. So we had triggers in midfield. We had triggers from left backs and right backs as a centre half on the ball. And as soon as I seen somebody move in a certain direction or to a certain space on the pitch, I knew what trigger that was. For example, if I have the ball on the left-sided edge of my box and I open up and I see Jake Carroll run inside, which is completely unnatural for him to take up a centre midfield spot, then I know Jermaine Hilton's dropping deep as a left wing back to get the ball. Now, when that happens and Jake comes inside, that triggers the midfielder on my side in the 3 to make a forward run into the hole that Jermaine's left. So everything works in triangles, and it's throughout the full pitch. Same with the 3 midfielders. One will clear the space, one will empty, one will come and show, and they just work in a triangle. There's triangles all over the pitch. The untrained eye won't see it, and it won't always work because we've been doing it for a year and a half. If you look at amazing teams, Clicks Quick, because they're technically top draw international footballers, but I like the belief that and the balls that Stephen Robinson's had to do it at this level. And you know what? The games might happen where Celtic will come to Fair Park and we still try and play the same way, and they're just technically better than us, and they beat us 5-6-1, 5-2. So what? Do you know what I mean? We're trying to play in the right way, or the way that we believe, because everybody bought into it, is the right way to play. And the way that got us third in the league, let's not lie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think fans, let's say when you come to like Celtic or Rangers, you need to weigh it up, because Celtic and Rangers, if they're playing well, doesn't matter what tactics you're putting in place, they're going to win. They're technically a lot better than all these teams with the money and things like that. But as a fan, you need to weigh up, would you rather lose 5-2, for example, and go for it, or would you rather lose 2-0 sitting in and praying that you don't get that?
That's another thing as well. The football, I think the fans are getting value for money for the last season and a half. You know, albeit we had a good cup run. I don't think we played pretty football. It didn't look easy on the eye. We were back to front too quick. But in the last season and a half, some of the football that we've played is incredible. I remember playing Livingston at home, and I think we only won the game 2-1. But oh my days, we must have had about 75-80% possession. They scored a free kick, but we missed chances after. We could have been 6 or 7-1 out of sight. It was a joy to play in that game. You come off the pitch enjoying football, and that's the main thing. It's a sport, and you're supposed to. If you're a professional footballer, you're lucky enough to live your dream, but ultimately you've got to entertain the fans, but you've got to be happy while doing so and enjoying yourself. There's no enjoyment in playing in certain ways, like we used to play, but it was successful. But being successful and enjoying what you do, he's definitely flicked the switch for that football club, and I think he's taking it to new heights.
Yeah, definitely. See, when you came obviously to this season off the back of last, obviously bottom six, but they were starting to build that there was a good team in place there if you could keep the core of it. Did you think at sort of pre-season time we can push up this league here this season?
No, I didn't. I thought seeing the players leave and players come before going back for pre-season, I was a little worried.
Who was it that left again in the summer?
Carl McHugh left, Curtis Main left, core of the team basically. Tom Aldred left. There was quite a few like Aaron Taylor Sinclair, Gail Bigger-Amana. So a lot of players had left, and you're thinking, and then a lot of players have come in, and it's credit to the boys in the dressing room who hold the dressing room together, because we made everybody gel so quick. And we didn't change the team ethos, so there was no dickheads. If there was, it wasn't allowed. And there wasn't. Everyone that came in was top draw, and you know what? There were better players than what we had. So that shows that the recruitment was fantastic, and you've seen that for yourself. You know, Liam Polworth, I think he's 18 assists or something crazy. You know, he's Declan Gallagher became a Scotland international this season at Motherwell Football Club. Players like that have added value to the team and the club, and I have no doubt that, albeit, you know, they've lost the captain, the vice captain this summer, the recruitment will be top draw, because every club's in the same situation with COVID. So budgets will be getting cut left, right and centre. So this is where managers step up to the plate and earn their keep and show how good they have as a manager. Can they manage these players? Stephen Robinson's top draw there. You've seen him 2-3 different transition of teams, and they're just building blocks, getting better and better every year.
See, just on you go, James.
Just kind of turning to this season, I know you've said previously that there was a deal on the table and then that kind of went away. Has it just been the case more that clubs are really kind of feeling the pinch now, and it's not even a case of reducing offers, it's just we'll draw a line under things and we'll see where we are in a month or two's time and reassess things moving forward?
Yeah, well, I'd spoke to Stephen Robinson back in October. Everything was okay. He said he wanted to keep me there, obviously being his captain and stuff. Had a few really, really good conversations, and then it went to January, spoke to him again, and then again in February, back and forth with contract offers. And then got to a stage where I was just... Well, I think we were both... Gaffer sort of knew that the club, with the situation of COVID, the club couldn't get to whatever, and I sort of didn't want to cripple anything. I'd had a go of 3 years there. So, you know, I go with a heavy heart, but I don't go with any regrets, and I definitely haven't burnt any bridges. I think the world of all of the staff, everyone at the club, and I leave with a smile on my face. How many people who get released from a football club can say that? You know, you usually have that bitterness inside of you, but I have zero. I don't need to have that. It's not going to help anything, and I don't feel that I left on bad terms at all. And I've had great conversations with the gaffer last week. Keith Lasley rang everybody at the club, but you know, things move on. That's the nature of the beast, and I just hope that I can go and add value to whatever my challenge is next. Because when I do go to a football club, I always try to leave the shirt in a better place than I picked it up, and I'd like to think that, you know, I've held to a high regard as being captain, and it's been an absolute pleasure to captain that dressing room, the fans, and also the football club to third place.
So just to bring it back a wee bit, obviously you took over the captaincy from Carl McHugh. How was that transition? Because I know Carol, I mean, there was the old rumour going about that he was still getting stuff shouted at him from the main stand even after he'd gone. It seemed, in my time of watching Mull, I've never seen a captain get so much stick from the fans. And the thing is, I don't even think he was doing anything particularly wrong. Like, how was that sort of transition from taking the captaincy off him to then taking it yourself?
Very easy. See, because I'm really close with Carl, we speak about a lot of things outside of football, and obviously he lives in Ireland, but he's probably one of my best mates in football. So I remember I was in the park with my little one, just taking him for a walk, and I got a phone call off him. It was a missed call, so I rang him back, and I was like, "Is everything all right?" It was that summer, and he went, "Yeah. Listen, I need to chat. I just feel like I need to concentrate on my game, and the captaincy could be a bit of a burden." And I was like, "Mate, listen, if you get through what you've been through, being captain, it'll make you bigger and stronger, and obviously you'll grow from it." And he just didn't. He just wanted to concentrate on football and not have the added pressure of doing the stuff that I've done, what people don't see. Everyone thinks a captain is basically the loudest person on the pitch, but that's not so. The captain has to guide youngsters into doing the right things, lead by example around the football club and outside of the football club. You have a lot of things to do with regards to little things, sorting tickets out, or, you know, if a player's having problems, you're the first person to turn to. If they can't do something, if they need a place to look for, if they're not sure. For example, Christian Illich, Sherwin Seedorf, two people from Holland and Croatia, helping them bed into the Scottish way of life, picking them up, taking them home, you know, things like that. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with the armband, but I've been captain. I was captain of Hartlepool when I was 22, and the person I am now to the person I was then, you know, I wasn't ready at 22 because I was the loudest person on the pitch. I got the armband, but I just feel like something that comes natural to me, and I think Carl knew that. And the conversation was great. He just said to me, "I think you should be captain," and I was like, "Okay, so I'm going to ring the gaffer and tell him that I don't want it." And obviously, he'll make his decision from there, who he thinks. And then came back in the summer. Gaffer put me in his office and said, "I want you to be my captain," and that was it. So obviously, took it with both hands and grew and moved forward from there.
What do you, obviously, captaincy's up in the air now with Richard Tate as well away. Who would you say in the dressing room, good candidate for that role? Will they be able to fill Big Peter Hartley's shoes?
No, I think personally Declan Gallagher, international experience, had a fantastic season last year, and he is a captain in his own. He's completely different to me, but he will do equally, if not a better job. I also think if you want to help a player grow and develop, sometimes it's good to give a captaincy to a younger player who you know is probably going to be one of the first names on your team sheet, who's going to be fit every single game, will play through pain. And that's Alan Campbell, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see what the manager does, but I would probably go for Declan or Alan. They're both captains. There's a lot of captains in that dressing room away from... sorry, my little man's just walked in.
Yeah, that's all right.
Away from, obviously, having the armband and stuff, there's a lot of captains in the dressing room. Liam Donnelly, for example, Trevor Carson. Trevor Carson leads by example. He's not very vocal, but his standards are amazing.
He's been a real... inspiration, I suppose, even though he's not played, to come back from the stuff he's had with DBT and stuff's pretty incredible. And then obviously, because he could have went and played elsewhere, I think anyway, instead of sitting behind Mark Gillespie. Mark Gillespie obviously had a great season, and I think he can win for Newcastle and things like that. But it's a testament to Trevor Carson, I think, that he stayed around and wanted to fight for his place.
Without a doubt, Trevor loves a football club. It's one of them clubs that, when it gets a hold of you, if you understand what the club's about and how it works and what the fans are after, you can do amazing things. And Trevor definitely understood all of that, like myself, like the majority of boys who've been and gone from the club. But to have the mentality and the mental strength that Trevor had to come back from what he'd been through, and then to sit on the bench and watch Mark Gillespie have probably the best season of his life, is amazing, because in my opinion Trevor's the best goalkeeper that I've ever played with. Some of the things he does, his distribution with both feet, some of the nailed on goals that you think as a defender, you're looking back at the goal like, oh my god, that's going in, and you'll just see Trevor like pluck it out of midair or just put his body in so many unusual positions to stop goals. He's a phenomenal keeper. It's just been unfortunate that not unfortunate, because obviously Trevor's amazing, but Mark's a good keeper too. And Mark's had the season he's had. The manager's done quite well managing them, because how do you sit potentially one of the top 5 goalkeepers in the league on the bench?
At Mullow,
when you've got another top 5 goalkeeper on in the league on the pitch, so it's difficult. The manager's done an amazing job, and obviously Trevor's had to buy his time. But I hope Trevor stays fit, healthy, and has an amazing season next year.
It's probably a testament to him as well. I mean, because Mullow have got quite an knack for bringing in good goalies. You've had sort of John Ruddy, Dan Randolph, who was Connor Ripley, George Long. Some have obviously made good careers for themselves down south. And for Trevor Carson and Mark Gillespie, to A, both be at the club at the same time, and B, competing with them for success whilst they were at Mullow is pretty not bad going.
Yeah, it's not bad going. It just goes to show, the players that have come and gone, the level of the, what's the word? Can't think of the word. The director of football, what does he do?
Recruitment.
The recruitment, the level of recruitment. Sorry, my mind went blank there. It just goes. The level of recruitment goes throughout the full pitch, not just obviously with players, goalkeepers, like you said, Darren Randolph. I think is he West Ham now?
West Ham, he's back for a second spell, bounced about the...
There you go. The standard's been phenomenal. But even if you look at the players that Motherwell have had in the past that have gone on to play at high levels in England, Marvin Johnson, what a player. Do you know what I mean? Players like that, the recruitment is top draw.
Right. James, have you got any questions for us?
No, I'm good with that.
Right, got a few, just a couple of basic ones really. Favourite player you played with whilst at Mullow?
From a personal point of view, or
personal point of view, who is your favourite to play with?
I'd probably say Louis Mould, because he was the difference between winning and losing big games. There was times, I don't know, Aberdeen away, Pittodrie, 0-0, and Moult, he scores 2 goals, and we just take the 3 points. He just had the knack of making our job easy with getting one chance and scoring 1 goal. So as a defender, obviously, if you've got a striker that does that, you've got something to hold on to.
The only person I've seen do the thing with Moult is there's a reason why Mullow fans still go to Preston when he's fit to watch him. Is because on top of he scores the goals against Rangers and Celtic with the lob in mid-air and things like that. It's the community stuff he does as well. So going to the fan podcasts that are about, he'll go to the social events that fans have invited him to. He's just embodies what Mullow is about, I think, in the community spirit.
I agree.
Right. Favourite moment in the Mullow shirt? Not to put you on the spot. We're not allowed to make
equaliser against Rangers. Favourite moment. Amazing feeling. It was an amazing game to watch. Being involved in it, it was back to front. We didn't give up. They didn't give up. Then you think, oh, Rangers are out of sight, and we pop up with the last kick of the game and get a point. So yeah, definitely.
Did you enjoy that, James?
Shut up, Ben. Even my bogey team in Football Manager. I hate going to Fir Park. I hate
it. That's brilliant. You still playing that Football Manager? I haven't played that for years.
Oh God, yeah.
It's addictive. I had to stop playing it.
No, career mode in FIFA I can't get in it. Right? See, because I'm not patient enough to go and sit through a full save in Football Manager. Not a chance. Blast through a full season on FIFA in about a day.
No, Football Manager is the one because you get involved with your tactics, you can sign your players.
See, I'm
scouting the Ukrainian 3rd Division looking for a left back.
That's brilliant.
See, clearly I'm not made for management. I get into pre-season, I've lost one game, like, nah, fuck this.
I've seen myself watching actual games on TV just because I recognise a player that I signed somewhere. It's like, Jesus Christ.
You know what? You saying that there, I remember when we played against Hearts. It was the last game we actually played. And there was a player called Donis Advajaj.
Yeah.
He was a wonder kid on FIFA, on Football Manager. I think he played for Schalke or something like that.
Something like...
His spell's not actually too long. He's away for Hearts now.
Yeah, he's gone, hasn't he?
I mind seeing him at Ross. I went to Ross County away midweek to report on Ross County Hearts in the middle of January, and he came on for 45 minutes. I was like, what? He was wearing number 99. It was like,
Yeah.
you don't look like you belong in Scottish football. He's meant to be going to Braga.
Is he?
Mhm.
I linked with Braga. Bit off topic, but I mean, aye. Anyway, what we remember most about Mull?
Getting the captaincy. Amazing moment. Definitely getting the captaincy, but there's a lot of fond memories. I'll always remember the cup final. That was an amazing feeling. You know, I thought we were quite unfortunate on the day because coming in at half time at 0-0, everything went to plan for us. We frustrated them. The tactics were bang on, and then getting Cedric sent off so early into the second half sort of killed our momentum, and we had a chance with Multi. If Multi puts our away, we could maybe go 1-1 to nick something. But as soon as Cedric gave the penalty away and he got sent off, it was game over. Everything went out the window.
That final just didn't seem to fall because obviously in that second half, I think Dave Gordon actually tips it onto the underside of the bar.
Yeah.
And then Cedric's red card is debatable, I think.
Yeah, I agree. That's it with referees. You know, you can't blame them because they're human, but sometimes just understand there's a lot on the line. Do you know what I mean? If someone's punched someone in the face or tried to physically hurt someone, then yeah, of course, send them off. But for an honest attempt at a tackle, what you mistimed, what's not going to put the player's career or give him a risk of injury. Come on, man, keep him on the pitch, give us a fair chance. Well, it is what it is. It's gone now. It's gone.
Aye. But what's the future hold for you? I know you said a couple of days ago, sort of in the newspapers, that you're be open to stay in Scottish football if the offer came in.
I would love to stay in Scottish football. I think it's an amazing league, the SPL, and obviously seeing how it's grew from initially signing on loan to last season, the standards going up and up and up, and I want to be part of that. So if the opportunity arises, it's definitely something I'd 100% consider. I mean, I've got a place in Scotland. I own a place there, so that shows what I think of the place, the country, and the league. So yeah, if something comes up, I'd definitely consider it. But if not, then so it's sort of be, and we'll maybe look back in England, or whatever opportunities arise, we'll take it from there.
How would you feel, obviously, if you say, for example, let's just name Ross County, for example, running out at Fir Park again in front of fans in opposition colours? That'll be a bit weird.
I'd like to think it would be really weird, but I'd like to think I'd get a good reception. I give everything 110%. You'll say yourself, you know, I'm not the easiest of footballers on the eye. I'm not the greatest, but you always get 110% effort. And that's one thing I think fans appreciate, regardless of how technically gifted you are, how slow you are, how physically not as strong you might not be. But as long as you give everything you've got and people can see that, then I think you'll get appreciation wherever you go.
James, you got anything to add?
No, I'm good.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for listening, Peter. Been a pleasure. Hopefully can speak to you soon when you get all your club sorted and we're actually out of the house and stuff for a change. This lockdown period, and maybe you'll have a head of hair.
Yeah, maybe not. We'll see.
Oh, now that's gone, it's never coming back. No, that's it.
Well, I've gone to Turkey. I'll come back from Turkey and I'll look like Fellaini.
He's bald now, by the way. He's not got the afro. He's bald.
I know, he's whipped it off now, hasn't he?
Have you got anything you want to promote, by the way? Anything you want to plug?
Me? No, nothing. I'm all good. I'm just helping myself.
Well, you can follow us. What is it?
It's a rarity, that. Somebody with nothing to plug.
No, I've got nothing.
Well, it's Banks and Black on Twitter for us. New episodes of Listen Up and 12 Yards Out coming weekly. Thanks again to Peter, and thank you for listening. Till next time, take it easy.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.